And not the bad is bad. Bad is there as the balancing to good, as the effect to keep creation in activity, to keep movement, to keep, you know, the mind chattering on and creating new drama and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting Grammys last night, huh? Owen, my man, if someone has prolapsus sagging, could it simply be they're not getting enough magnesium, calcium, boron, vitamin D in their diet? Or is it always the utilization of calcium through the parathyroid? Well, I think you always find it's predominantly the utilization of calcium through the parathyroid. Now, here would be an exception. When they're coming out of a genetic family that maybe someone had a parathyroid weakness down the way, or they got their body so acidic, ravishing calcium out of them, and this got passed in a genetic stance to where the connective tissue, the cells were weak from that, memory patterns of genetics, that could give a local weakness without a parathyroid weakness if that wasn't passed. It is possible to have that. But in all efforts, I think I would kick up the parathyroid anyway, Owen, to make sure that utilization factor is in place. Far also, one must understand that the removal of acidosis is vital. And you'll see this true if prolapse is taking over time. It's one thing to see a genetic weakness in the moment and see what's happening. If that is a genetic weakness, I would expect to see the prolapses early on in their lives. Excuse me. If you see the prolapses later on in their lives, then more or less they're losing calcium and the parathyroid is going down and that sort of thing. Can't hurt to pop that up a little bit anyway. Magnesium, you're going to go back to the adrenal glands with that. So you've got some adrenal looking to do. You've got, I would really, instead of working with the deficiency side of that, I would just pour in the goodies, the fruits and the berries and the melons and maybe the greens, pop a superfood blend. Everything's good coming in then, okay? Then your focus is to get into the tissues and get them healthy because you want digestion, you want absorption, and you want utilization. Those three things are vital in the end product of someone being healthy because you don't know where along that line this modus operandi is involved. So it can be adrenal utilization problems as well with magnesium as it is at the parathyroid with calcium. And that's a big factor with utilization of zinc, selenium, all the elements, the B12s, the cobalt connections, all of these factors, all of these things are affected. Iron carrying capacities, hemoglobin, all these things have somewhat of a pathway through adrenal steroids. So real important to look at the adrenals and how many people have healthy adrenals. If you raised your hand, I doubt it. I mean, that's how bad it is out there. So we really, just being on the planet is an adrenal stressor. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'd do, my friend, for sure. And you have a great one, my dear one. Lovely, lovely soul. Love you, Dr. Morse. This is by Petal, by Petual. One. The alone exists, doesn't it? The alone bipedal exists. Absolutely. And that, yet, we all exist as one. How interesting is it all, eh? Thanks for speaking the truth about healing. Oh, thank you. I know. Hey, thanks for that comment. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but I mean, you look at what we see here, and I'm going to keep bringing some of these cases to the forefront here to show you the what's going on with the kids and what's going on here. And it's like that comment early on with that RN, about, all those children dead now. I mean, I have to tell you, the statistics speak for themselves. It's just that you don't get to hear them. And you don't get to hear them because it would be shocking to the Americans if they knew the truth. Shocking the lies that the CDC centers have held. Shocking at the amount of deaths and the surgeries that are mutative to people. I mean, there's good and the bad, no question about it. That's why I like homeopathy in relationship to allopathy, because it's not a killing machine like pharmaceuticals. And every time I listen to these new drugs on the market, it seems like their side effects are more radical and they're more brazen to tell you. They go rattle. This one drug the other day, they rattled right off what the side effects were. Death, there's been a percentage of fatal events. That's not a nice way to say it. Fatal events. You mean a lot of people died taking it? Yeah, fatal events and blah, 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 and it was just rattling on. It just kept rattling on the side effect. And the next thing you know, you need to see your doctor. You might be able to use this. Yeah. I mean, it's that sort of insanity that's out there. And you know what? People are so unconscious, some buy into that. For those that are not, it's a real eye-opener. So glad that I'm off today, so this will give me time to catch up with your videos. Hi, Rosalind. Not if I can outproduce you. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm back, though, and I'll keep putting these out there. Still having so much fun reading your book. Thank you so much, Rosalind. You're a good woman. You hang in there, get your health back, dear one. Oh, this is cute. Oh, Vegan Princess 01. Oh, that's a little pig. Or is that like a Vietnamese pig or something? Isn't that a cute little fella? Yeah, now what's the name of that one? Is that Vegan Princess? Omnivores, hogs. We used to raise a lot of them. I always never got with them too much. When they made it a pet, I had a friend that had a big pot-belly hog or a pig as a pet. That thing walked in, did everything just like the dog. I was a lot smarter than the dog. It was amazing. What are your ideas on saving the sexual energy nor orgasm to achieve Christ consciousness? Good question. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could deal with that. But I think really, I've kind of separated my bodies and dwell in it all the time. And if you understand that Christ consciousness is, and you merely have to be to experience it. It doesn't matter what you do with your external energy. I mean, it's just like the Kundalini. You can play raising it to the crown chakra, bringing that energy up the chakras to the crown. Or you could just start with the crown and go on. It's just all perception. And it's how you perceive and how you look. Well, that's why being in the now pulls you more to the Christ consciousness and into God consciousness. And you have to step totally out of the way and just be, because there's no definition you can give to that state of awareness. There's no definition to it, because it's a totality, an allness, a beingness that there's no mental definition for it. And you wouldn't want it, because as soon as you define it, you lost it. And this is part of that problem, especially in the pure mind worlds where cosmic consciousness is first experienced. Even there, thought, it doesn't take place to the causal worlds below it. But pure mind, I mean, this is just pure levels of, different levels of beingness, if you will. And so you can hold that sexual energy and build it, or you can just be it without even worrying about it. So I don't worry about it that way. I like the interaction of two beings, so to speak. But that can be an incredible experience, both spiritual beings coming together, keeping their individuality at the same time and their energy merging. It's nirvanic. And I think that's really more of the higher experiences that men and women, or two women, two men, doesn't matter, two beings can have together. Doesn't matter, two spiritual beings uniting. I see each one of you, and I love to give you big hugs because you all just, we're merging as one. So it doesn't matter, in my opinion, A lot of yogas, of course, sustain, hold that, hold it. But there's a ton of masturbation in a lot of ashrams. So, there's a lot going on there where you think, but the people do release. So, I don't know how to answer that. I can tell you there's a lot more of that going on than people realize, of people that are trying to be celibate. I've been celibate for over a year one time. Didn't seem like a long time, but it was. And it was definitely energetic and nirvanic, but at the same time, I learned to be it, because I can't let my bodies influence me and my consciousness, because if that takes place, I'm the loser. So I have to keep my bodies, my mind, my emotions, my physical body, and its acts separate than that. And then all energy is all what it is. You don't have the Your bodies can have an influx of up and down, but not you, because you're dwelling in it always. You're dwelling in the eternal now. You're dwelling in the arms of God. All these metaphors. You're dwelling in Christ consciousness, and there is no, that's a total state. Although there are levels of that state, even of beingness, and that's where you get into the higher God worlds, where now it's just levels of beingness as opposed to states of consciousness, a shift. But man, some insane magnetics going on there. I know people who still have sexual intercourse without orgasm. Absolutely. There's all kinds of fun you can have that. The Indian people had that down pretty good. Chinese do too. Enjoying the bodies for their maximum potential. And that is in a mnemonic state of energetics, whether it's having orgasms or just the union of consciousness. High souls. I love to look at a beautiful soul. It gets me high. Just being in the presence of you guys gives me a buzz. That cool? Yeah, absolutely. No, nothing's unnatural to do. It's a natural thing to merge and become one, whether it's man, woman, two men, two women, who cares? You're merging and enjoying the merging of the two. I love it. Cool stuff. SCORPIUS 662. Yeah, you remind me of Serpico. I don't know why that your title just gives me that Serpico. Dr. Morse, I'm feeling very dehydrated. I try to drink water. Nope, that's not going to do it. But my body absorbs very little of it. Yep. It seems to no matter how much water I drink, I'm still dehydrated. Can't rehydrate with water. Good question. Good question. You cannot rehydrate with water. We keep trying that, but you can't. You maybe rehydrate the blood a little bit. But again, if you're pounding in those fruits and veggies, you're not going to need that. Moving lymph is the key, and getting those kidneys, because those kidneys are going to let that water flow right through you, or you're going to hold that water. It still won't rehydrate you, but it's still acting as a buffering agent. This true hydration, as you guys are learning, is really starting